Hello, hello, hello. It's your friendly neighborhood nerd, Butterpanda888. I'm Sam, and I'd like to start off by apologizing for not being very active with videos lately, or for a while actually. I've, no, I promised a comic book costume video. I've decided to scrap that idea, but I hope to have some more content coming, and hopefully you will enjoy that. Um, so some possible projects that are on the table, on the idea board, are a what do I think and feel about Pathfinder 2nd Edition? And I'm excited to get that out there. I have a character planned already. I'll go through character creation of that character when I get the chance. It's going to be a half-elf paladin of Caden Kalian. I believe paladins can take a domain, so I'll take the Indulgence domain. Drunken paladin. I'm taking the sailor background. It should be a blast. But that's for another time, another day, another video. Some more content I uh, hope to get out there include some video game gameplays. I've been meaning to do that. Um, I also have a project in the works. It's a converting, or it's a game of, it's a game, role-playing game, campaign set in the universe of Voltron, Legendary Defenders, the Netflix series adaptation of Voltron. And I plan on either using it for Starfinder, or with Starfinder, or with Age of Rebellion from Fantasy Flight Games. I haven't decided which rule set to use, but I'm hoping to get that out there soon. Some more videos might be. Oh, I have a really great fighter build for D&D 5th edition. It's like I'll walk through it up to level 20. At level 20, it is a beast. It's pretty good. So I'll go over that with everybody in another video. And then the reason I'm looking over here is because I have some of my books over here. But I will also be doing a video of some sources I, as a GM, DM, like to use as ones I find as a player are fun. So some materials that I recommend for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. But all that's in the future. Today I want to talk about my newest project, which is a campaign I hope to get running very soon. It's called Necrospace. Now, Necrospace is a dark science fantasy setting. I got inspiration from a few different sources. Chronicles of Riddick, Amonkhet from Magic the Gathering, Warhammer 40k, Dune, Dark Astral, which is a Zweihander RPG supplement, or chapbook as they call it. A little bit of inspiration from Blade Runner. And then I drew inspiration from the Sedlic Ossuary. It's a church, chapel, cathedral, I don't know, of bones. And so Necrospace it's pretty grimdark, and it's basically interstellar empire, uh, pretty dystopian, where they heavily use necromancy. Now, they're not evil, so to speak. Necromancy isn't inherently evil in a setting. In fact, the religion is based around it, the Mortis orthodoxy, and to them, necromancy is both a punishment, so you can serve time of a life sentence or a death sentence and then be risen as an undead, but it's also an honor to be undead. Of course, what type of undead uh, plays into it. If you're a rotting zombie, you're more likely to be a punishment. If you're more pristine and preserved, it's more of an honor. Ghosts are an honor, and the undead are used for everything from uh, military, labor, to something cool I call the mausoleum. The mausoleums aren't like what you would think of it with a mausoleum. Basically, a mausoleum is a large glass pyramid, or it might be metal, but they're very sleek pyramids, very modern looking. Inside, though, looks like a what do you call catacomb. Just rows and rows of skulls plugged into computer terminals. And through these, the clerks are able to gather information from the deceased. And in extreme circumstances, can even call forth the deceased via the form of a ghost. Now, my idea for the PCs, player characters, are that they are colonists on a new planet, and they're part of this interstellar empire of necromancy. So, some idea, the setting will be, the system I use will be GURPS. GURPS 4th edition. I'll be using, of course, the basic set, the campaign and the characters books. I will be using GURPS Space, GURPS Ultratech, and Pyramid number 3 / 92 Zombies. Give me just okay. I was just checking the lighting, and it still looks like we're good. It's getting late where I am, so don't want it to go black on me. Okay, but back to my setting. So GURPS. GURPS is the system I'll be using for Necrospace. So some possible character ideas for Necrospace. Like if you're in Necrospace, what are you? Well, the characters could, or the PC's characters could be an underworld necromonger. Necromongers are kind of like your black market surgeons. They can patch you up, they can cut you open, they can implant you with technology. They're a combination of black market surgeon. They can be field medics, but they can also be like Ripper Docs, I think they're called, from Cyberpunk series, where they implant you with technology and cybernetics. They're more they're more dark and bloody than a medic or a doctor would be, but they serve both undead and dead and living human clients, and they work on all three. As a colonist, you probably wouldn't have access to a real pristine, nice facility for a necromonger, so you'd most likely get an underworld necromonger. And by underworld, I mean the criminal underworld. Now, in my setting, not everyone is a necromancer. In fact, the only people who can raise the dead are clergy of the Mortis Orthodoxy. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had the hiccups. But so Mortis priests or priests of the Mortis Orthodoxy are the ones who can raise the dead. Now, the poor, the destitute, would not be able to have their own undead. Middle class might have one or maybe two. The upper echelons, whatever, society would have multiple. The nobles and imperials would have very many undead servants, miners, soldiers, guards, whatever. Um, so a Mortis priest, basically a church or cathedral of the Mortis Orthodoxy, often called cathedrals of bones or bone palaces, are basically Sedlec ossuary. If you Google Sedlec ossuary, you can get a good idea of what to expect when going into a Mortis cathedral. And then there's another idea. It could be an imperial tax collector. Very snobby. They like their job because they're very bureaucratic. They're within their society, but they are not the most noble and upper class of people. But they do have some privilege, so that could be fun. You could be a miner. I know I said most miners are, or most of the work labor is undead, but there are human miners as well, human laborers as well. A merchant, you could be a merchant. I mentioned the mausoleums earlier. It's kind of like this library of the dead and knowledge of the dead and from the dead. So you could be a mausoleum clerk, they're called, basically the librarians and library clerks of a mausoleum. Now there's a notable mercenary company within the Necrospace setting called the Skeleton Crew. And the Skeleton Crew, all their motif is a skull and crossbones or skull and cross swords, like the Jolly Roger, I think, and or just a skull simply, or a skeleton. So all their armor, their badges, or their iconography, or something along those lines of skulls and skeletons. The main kind of trooper soldier in my setting is known as the Black Knights. They're the military force. Trooper heavy armor, like Star Wars or Halo, Warhammer 40k Space Marines. Maybe not to that extreme. They're not genetically upgraded in any way, but I mean they could be, but most aren't. And as a default, they're not. But they're called the Black Knights. Then you could be a colony pathfinder. Colony pathfinders are the ones who go and explore new worlds. They're the ones who say report back saying, "Hey, could be a colony." They're the ones who on a colony. Those are like the high-ranking colony pathfinders. Just your average colony pathfinder would be the one who goes and explores the wilderness of around a colony of a planet, taking out hostile aliens, reporting of dangerous terrain, reporting natural resources that could be of use, um, reporting their findings and to the colony overlords. Then there's something called the Shinigami. Shinigami are basically the secret police in my setting of Necrospace. The Shinigami range from undercover, kind of Blade Runner-esque type characters. When I say Blade Runner, I mean the occupation of Blade Runner from the Blade Runner series, to augmented stealth tech super assassins that are like more myth than man. And so those are some of the ideas of what you could be. I mean, I'm open to anything that my players can come up with, and as long as it works within the setting, but it should be interesting to see what they play. Now, for some more info on the setting of Necrospace, Necrospace's nobility is divided, and government is divided into the noble houses. Now, there are several major houses. Let me just check. It's House Ryu, House Griffinus, House Ouroboros, House Sagittarius, House Avalon, and House Charybdis are the six, I believe it's six, major noble houses. Now, the minor noble houses are House Cuervo, House Kovat, House Leo, and House Sparrow. So 4 minor noble houses for 10 noble houses total. Now, the current emperor of the empire, the Mortis Empire, is Emperor Augustine Yamashiro of House Ryu. House Ryu's naming conventions, well, he's the current head of House Ryu, and their naming conventions are a Romanesque first name and a Japanese last name. But their ethnic base is basically Japanese, all Asian. Their house symbol is a dragon, more like the serpentine Japanese dragons and Western dragons or any other kind of dragon. And their colors are yellow and red. Then House Griffinus. Its current head is Lord General Heinrich von Killenberg, leader of the Imperial Army. Naming conventions are all German. Ethnic base is Caucasian. And the house symbol and color, the symbol is a griffin, if you couldn't tell by Griffinus. And their colors are black and white. House Ouroboros is the next house. Its current head is Lord Admiral Calder Eggleston, leader of the Imperial Space Navy. Naming conventions are Norse and ethnic base is Scandinavian. Their house symbol is the Ouroboros, this big serpent eating its tail, and their colors are a deep blue and silver. Then House Sagittarius is next. Its current head is Lord Magistrate Felipe Adamar Cesar Fortunato Santiago III, Lord Diplomat and Master of Economy. Their naming conventions are long Portuguese and Spanish names. Ethnic base is Portuguese and Hispanic. And the house symbol and colors, their symbol is a centaur, and their colors are yellow and green. And you have House Avalon. Its current head is High Priestess Bronach Breen Avalon, Archpriestess of the Mortis Orthodoxy. Their naming conventions are a Celtic first name, followed by a Celtic last name, and then it ends with the name Avalon. Their ethnic base is a melting pot of Caucasian, Indian, as in from the subcontinent of India, and black, African-esque. Now, there is no Earth in this setting, so I'm just giving these ethnic bases and naming conventions as a source of reference, point of reference. And there's House Charybdis. Its current head is Archimedes the Undying, Grand Librarian of the Imperial Mausoleum. And he's undying for a reason, because he's the founder of the house, and he's still alive. Naming conventions are ancient Greek. Ethnic base is Mediterranean and African, from North Africa all the way down. House symbols and colors. The symbol is a fanged whirlpool, and their colors are blue and red. Now, with the major houses, they have multiple families and bloodlines within that house. For instance, if you're of House Ryu, not everyone is going to be of the Yamashiro bloodline. Or if you're of um, House Sagittarius, not everyone is going to be a Santiago. But they have multiple groups working within them. In fact, the major noble houses are so large that they absorb just multiple different industries and specialties, so they don't specialize in any one thing. They specialize in everything. Now, their leaders and the high ups of within those houses, they may specialize. That's why, kind of like the cabinet of government. That's why you have each one with a different specialty of the current heads. Also, the naming conventions, while they would be followed by everyone within that house, they're not going to be necessarily related to the founder. So, for instance, you could be, for the House Avalon, you could have a Celtic first name, a Celtic last name, and your name ends with Avalon, but you're not related to Bronach Breen. Or if you're from House Ryu, you could be named Augustus Hashimoto. You're not related to Augustine Yamashiro, but you're still of House Ryu. Now the minor houses, they're smaller and they have specialties. Again, though not everyone within the house is related to the head leader, and these are more varied in their ethnic base. They're melting pots. The first minor house is House Cuervo. Its current head is Michelangelo Verona. House symbols and colors. Their symbol is a crow, and their colors are black and yellow. And their main industry is law enforcement. They are your police officers, your detectives, your security guards. Now, if they become corrupt, that may be the thing, and you may have them thieves guilds among them too. It's crazy, but it's how it works. Mafias can be under them. It varies. House Kovat is the next one. Its current head is Izgir Kuznetsov. Yeah, and Kuznetsov, Izgir Kuznetsov. Um, the house symbol and colors. The symbol is an anvil, and the colors are red and gray. The main industries are mining, manufacturing, and architecture. Then there's House Leo. Current head is Leonardo Leopold the 12th. No, like I said, they don't necessarily follow any sort of naming conventions within these houses. But there are some bloodlines which have lasted a while. Leonardo Leopold the 12th is the 12th Leonardo Leopold within his bloodline. The Leopolds have held power. And it's common in House Leo to have something regarding lions in your name. especially Leo, and especially among that bloodline. So if you're not Leonardo Leopold the 12th or one of his ancestors, you might be Leon Leopold or Leopold or something along those lines. Leo Leonardo Leopold. I don't know. Those are I can't think of very many names about lions without looking it up, but just off the top of my head. But then there are others. There could be a Sherman Wolowitz, a um, a Japanese name or a Italian name. It could be anything. But that's just a common trend within House Leo. Their house symbol and color is lion, with blue and gold. Their main industry is arms manufacturing and soldiers and mercs. So lots of soldiers and military recruits come from House Leo, as well as lots of skeleton crew members. And they also make a lot of weapons. Then there's House Sparrow. Its current head is Declan Smith. The house symbol and color, the symbol is a sparrow, obviously, and the color is purple and white. Their main industry is exploration and colonization. Lots of exploratory pilots, um, diviners, all of them will go off and or from House Sparrow. There's actually a lot of mausoleum clerks from House Sparrow, and lots of colony pathfinders come from House Sparrow. In fact, lots of colonists come from House Sparrow. And I haven't done this yet, but I will add some house mottos, and that'll probably be in another video because I hope to have more videos updating the progress and story and setting and creation of um, Necrospace, which is again Necrospace is the name of my setting. I just realized it's getting kind of dark. Hope you guys can see me okay. Sorry about that.